Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Emerald County. Today, we're over here in Applesby, where I have something I need to change that people were quite keen to point out in the comments. This roundabout is currently going both ways, which it really shouldn't be doing. So let's just go ahead and fix that a little bit. There we go. That's still going both ways. Let's just fix that a little bit. There we go. It's now a functioning roundabout again, and no one's going to be parking on it either, which is super great news. What I'm also thinking is that I'm going to downgrade this road here so that people can, in fact, park on this road. Alternatively, doing that might be an idea. Because that way there's crossings either side of the bus, and I got rid of zoning. That way there's crossings on either side of the bus stop, which is gonna be nice to have. So let me just go ahead and rezone that a little bit. So yeah, that'll be useful for the school and helping people to get, you know, back and forth to that. So that's actually quite nice to have. I think that's probably pretty good. What I'd also like to do is just tear out that little bit of pathway and come in there with this, and do that, and do that, so that there's ways for traffic to get about in there just a little bit better. So hopefully, that'll stop traffic from backing up as much as it currently is in this space down here, because it is a bit of a problem. Obviously, traffic's a problem for the construction site, but that's kind of through design, so that's okay. But I think, generally speaking, the rest of Applesby is doing its job. I think I was worried that dezoned, it hadn't. Okay, so yeah, Applesby is kind of done, really. I wouldn't say it's completely finished. I would like to come back here and make some changes at some point. There's spaces like this that could use parks and all that. We will get to that. I also think it might be nice somewhere down the line to eventually get rid of this construction site and actually put in the bridge that they're supposed to be building, so we'll get to that eventually. But our next order of business is going to be renaming Birdsong Heights to Core Industrial, which I've completely forgotten the name of the person that suggested that name, but the joke there is that Core Industrial goes with Apple in Applesby, and you get the Apple Core. So that's the reason we're going with Core Industrial there. I thought it was kind of clever, thought it kind of worked, and kind of liked the name, so Core Industrial. There you go. As for today's episode, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have recorded and then deleted about 2 hours of footage thus far for Emerald County. For this episode alone. Never mind the entire series so far. There's a lot I kind of record and then delete because I think it's terrible. I recorded me trying to build a government district over here as like the start of our city. Because the last few episodes, you know, I've done some small projects. You know, Core Industrial's not a big project, and I spent a long time on this construction site. And I spent a long time on this construction site in the last episode. This episode, I want to sort of get back to doing slightly grander projects, and I came over here and started trying to design our city. And I say started trying to design the city because it didn't really work, and that kind of annoyed me a lot because I really wanted it to work. So what I'm going to try today is ripping all of this out right back to that point. Give me this 4-lane road here. We're going to go 12 and 12, obviously, so 12 along and then 12 meters up. We're going to bring this straight down. Actually, you know what would be a better idea? Going 12 and 12 there. And 12 and 12 there. And then just linking these together. So that way we have some very straight sections of highway. There you go. So the reason for that, flip that around and flip that around. Then go to highways. I want 4 lanes. The reason I want 4 lanes is because it just works a little bit better with what's going on back here. These 4 lanes will sort of merge together. These lanes sort of branch off a little bit. And I think I'll stick with 4 lanes up to, say, there? And then it can go into 3 for the bridge. So that should be fine. But yeah, that'll work a little bit better with this bridge here. And this raised section of highway will be nice for putting some off-ramps and stuff like that on. In fact, What I think I'd like to do is take out this little section just here and see if I can get a little bit of an intersection in there. So I can't do this one because it has tunnels. And I just placed it. That was an accident. Good job, me. There we go. Let me just delete all of these sections of road along there. Delete that. And I could go for this. I could obviously raise this up. I'll have to delete those bits as well. But this can be raised up and sort of stuck on there, which I don't mind the look of, but something a little simpler would be nice. Maybe that one. I say simpler. This one's not quite simpler at all, but I like it. This one here, I think, yeah, it needs tunnels. This one I could stick in there, actually, which might be a good idea because we might want to have like that giant sort of thing there to get people to this side of the city. But I don't know, that seems a little bit too big. I do, of course, have this thing, which is enormous, but would actually work there, and it would be nice to get to use this, because I haven't got to use this at all yet. So what if I was to actually try this? If I, like, do that and that, like, if I, can I link this to all of this, or are those roads are way too close together? So that's not actually going to be possible, because the roads are too close together. Unless I did something like that, which is doable, but I think it's a little big. Okay, let's stick with something a bit smaller that's kind of in proportion to the rest of Emerald County. I think that might be my better bet. I think that kind of works. It's nice and simple, it does the job, and it's nothing ridiculous, although I like this one. I'm gonna go with this one. I think this one's kind of cool looking, it's kind of funky looking, so we'll just chuck it sort of there a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. So there you go. That's the intersection we're going to go with. Going to have to slightly adjust it to work with the 4 lanes. So connect that to there. Upgrade that. That's going to be 4 lanes. That can be 3 lanes. That's fine. Those bits need to be 4. Then we just need to connect you to you and you to you. And that should be fine. Technically, these should be 2 lanes here. So let's drop those down to 2 lanes. And yeah, I think that's a nice little intersection there. It would be nice to get another one up here, so there is sort of another way into the city. But I'm not really sure how I would do that. Do I have any intersections that go the other... I mean, this one goes the other way. So I could put that one there, and that could work. Alternatively, I mean, that one that's the same one we just placed. We do have this one, which is sort of a central one, and this one actually sort of technically goes the other way as well. And it's actually a really nice big sort of curving thing there. So I think we'll try that as well. We'll chuck this just there. Yeah, I like it. I think it looks kind of cool. Get rid of this and go ahead and change it to the 4-lane section of highway. So do that, and then we just change all of these a little bit. I'm going to have to put some 2-lane roads in here in just a second. I think pretty much all of these are going to have to change into 2-lane, and these are going to have to be 4. So let's just get all these roads upgraded. There we go. We have this ridiculous-looking series of roads here, and this ridiculous-looking series of roads here, which all come together. Oh my god, those ones are really high up. But which all come together to give us a very nice sort of basis for the city. The city is pretty much going to take up all of this empty space and these little bits out here as well, because I think a nice big city could be kind of fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to once again build what I think could be a really interesting space. Basically, I want to build a government space. The government, like the center of government for Emerald County. So we're going to start this way, and I'm going to change this a little bit. So that these are, let's say, 10 apart. I don't know what it is, 10 meters, 10 units, I don't know. So that's, maybe they could be a little closer. Let's try 7 rather than 10. And if I do that, yeah, that's better. Okay, so these trees are going to be 10 spaces apart, or 7 spaces apart, sorry. And we're going to start here. So if I go, say, Let's try and make it kind of small as well. It doesn't need to be huge. I mean, I have to keep in mind the scale that we're working with here. So if I do 16, then I want to do this kind of thing there so I can have the... No, that wasn't right. If I do this kind of thing here and have the trees going not that way, but that way, because I kind of want the trees... Oh, you know what? I kind of want the trees to be on the other side, actually. I think that would work a lot better if the trees were on the outsides. That's the inside. So if I do that and do that. There we go. So keep the trees on, like, the outside of this space. Then on the inside, I want to place City Hall, which will place quite nicely there. So yeah, that I like. I like that building. I wonder, though, what two of them would look like. That's something I don't often get to ask myself. What would two of this same building look like? But I'm going to take the opportunity and ask myself what two of this same building would look like. Especially quite close together. What about three of them? You know, I actually really like it, despite the fact that it's very clearly three of the exact same building. I actually like it. Now, what if we were to go for a different building? Because I know for a fact that Amsterdam Palace does sort of work when stuck together. As you can see, it also, you know, it looks pretty good. I also know that the government offices happen to work pretty well when stuck together. These are going to be stuck together a little bit too much. But you can sort of see there, like, they also work quite well. So we do have a lot of room to play with here. So what if we... I don't think I want two of City Hall. I think we'll stick with one of those. Then on either side of City Hall, if I just extend this road a little bit, and then go... How many units is that in there? That's 7? So 7 units on the inside. That's not enough. That is enough. Is that enough space to put the government offices? I'm actually quite curious. It actually is, technically. They do overlap, obviously, but that is technically enough space. I think 8 is maybe where I'd want to go with this, though. Unless if I move it and sort of chuck it up there. Because I basically want to create a, some streets here. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, some really nicely lined streets. So, maybe, just maybe, if I put another government office there, what kind of space are we looking at in between? That looks like a space of 2 to me, which would kind of be perfect. Alternatively, if I move these in a little bit further, so if instead of 7, we go 6 units to either side of the City Hall, so that is 6 there. So 20 that way and 20 that way. We'll go another 10 just so I have a bit more space to work with. So if I do that, and I go government office, and then sort of stick these together. For 1, it looks very official and gives us a really nicely paved space. And for 2, I can actually come in there with this little road and do something very interesting. So if I do that, and then I do that. Yeah, so I can actually put this little road down between all of this. And that'll actually have people sort of driving behind these buildings, which I think will look really cool. I can also sort of do that kind of thing. So there's like a road that goes to the sides of the parking spaces, which all really nicely link together as well. So I think that works really well, actually. And I can go ahead and sort of connect these to these main roads if I so desire. Which I kind of desire. I can also turn zoning off on those, so they won't really interfere too much with everything else that's going on around here. So, I don't know what I was clicking there. That was interesting. Click those, and that's fine. So I think having those government offices there could just looks really cool. I really like that. It takes up a lot of space, but I think it's worth it. Now, what can I put either side of City Hall is the question. Because there's not really much, is there? That is Amsterdam Palace. That is a cathedral. That is... I don't know what that is. That's something I've probably got off the gallery. The workshop is the word I was looking for there. So let's see. I could put the London Eye in. Somewhere. Probably a little bit much. Government office is already placed. Theater's way too big. Obviously not going to put a shopping center. Cinema, no. You know what? Maybe that's all we need. Maybe we've got all we need in here. I could add another city hall if I really wanted to. I mean, I could do that, which looks interesting, actually. Oh god, have I... You know what? I actually kind of like that. Except for the fences around the front aren't the nicest thing, but that's surprisingly worked. Hold on a minute. What if I put a couple of them like this? Does that... Hold on a minute. Does that... That works. Oh god, that works. What about the back works as well? The rooftops here are a little bit weird. But that actually kind of works. No, I think that's a bit much. We'll keep the one standard City Hall. Either side of City Hall, I'm going to do some pedestrian paths. Actually, no, we'll move them away from City Hall just a little bit. Like that. And like that. So that should be fine. Then, I think around this space, I want to just do that kind of thing. So we get a little bit of gravel just around there, so I can put some plants and all that stuff in there. I think that could look really nice. I could technically do the same thing there. Which kind of works. What if I was to do it there as well? No, let's just do that. I think that kind of works. I can put some nice trees and stuff in there and it should look fine. So I guess now what I want to do is bulldoze that road and bulldoze that road. Then come in here with the tree-lined one, which needs to go the other way. So from there to there, then... Oh god, this is going to be tricky. I think that's fine. I'll tell you what, we're just going to flip this around a little bit. So left is going to be small oak by default. Right is going to be none. There we go, that works fine. Then delete those and turn on zoning and go like that. Then do that and go like that. Yep, there we go. Okay. I think this road here could actually afford to be upgraded a little bit, which actually almost worked. So, let me see. Can I mean, I can technically just do it there, which is fine. It just needs to go the other way. So, that way. Then for some reason, those downgraded a little bit. That was strange. So, like that and like that. So, the trees are still on the outside of the area, which is great news. And then those roads can probably be deleted. That little road in the center can sort of be deleted as well. Turn that off. Give me... Let's see. Let's just go with neutral white for default there. And let me just change all of the other ones to have the neutral white lights as well. There we go. So I think that, honestly, is as simple as it is. I think it works. So what I want to do now is come in here with a 3-lane road. And I probably want to get rid of those and turn zoning on and come out to the sides, just say 10 and 10, then another 10 and another 10. I probably want to go this way as well. Basically, I'm going to measure something here. That's what I'm getting at. So 10 and 10. Okay, so that's going to be used to measure a thing. And that thing is going to be the one-way road, which, yep, one-way road, which is going to go pretty much the whole way around all of this space. So, let's do 2 and 2, which I think gives us the spacing, yeah. Then this is going to be straight to there. Then we need 2 and 2 again. Let's just do the corners first, because these are going to be the most tedious. So 2 and 2, then 2 and 2. Then I think I can pretty much just delete the measuring spaces that we had there. The measuring roads. Because I should just be able to go from there to there without too much hassle, from there to there without too much hassle, and link these all together. Again, all without too much hassle. There we go. That all looks pretty good to me. So, what we do now is obviously come in here and turn off zoning on all of these roads. So, do all of this to no longer have zoning. Now that road did not work the way I wanted it to. Let's just fix that. That way? Yeah, there we go. Then this front section of road here, for one, I will need to briefly have zoning on. That was not the type of road I wanted. I will briefly need to have zoning on, so I can measure that properly, then put that in the middle. So that way there are trees on either side. They also don't end up blocking the city hall. So there we go. Now all the zoning will sort of, if there is to be any zoning, which I don't necessarily think there will be, it would all be on the this main section road here. So what we'll do now is go ahead and use these little one-way streets to sort of nicely line all of this. No, wait a minute. Why is that not that's why it's not snapping. Okay. So this is going to be tricky because I kind of want to use the grid lines in here, which I can do. It's just really, really tricky to get it to work. Okay, you know what? Forget it. Do this. Get rid of that bit of road until we can actually make this work. So, I want this to be an exit. So that's going to go there. And that just messed up all of that. That's great. And this to be the entrance, I think. Nope. Definitely not that one. Still definitely not that. And I think that's right. That's fine. Okay. Let me just link these back together. Delete those. So traffic is going around to the left. So that should be the entrance. That should be the exit. So that bit of road there needs flipped that way. I said, okay, did I not do it on one-way roads? Apparently not. There we go. So that's, oh, it's using utility poles still. Let's just change that. There we go. So that should be fine. That's going to be the way. No, it's not. I've made a mistake. Okay, so I just decided to go with this, which is actually the most simple way of doing things possible. We have this large avenue going up to here. This effectively acts as a large roundabout, and there's a way into the government area there. And I'll put one into the government area up here as well, just since it really is the simplest method to make this work. So we'll just go 20 that way. There we go. So basically, you just have these big rows. That view there is excellent. I love how that looks. It looks so cool. And then from this side as well, you also have the excellent view of the city hall. And this takes up a pretty big space. It really does. But for me, I think that'll be okay. And the reason I think that'll be okay is because I'm sort of basing this a little bit. And I think I'm actually going to turn zoning off on these roads here. I'm sort of basing this whole thing a little bit on Belfast City Hall, which, as I'm sure everyone knows, or most people, I think, actually, I say everyone knows, most people ask this is the most common question is, where am I from? But Belfast City Hall is actually a surprisingly social place. And by that, I mean, it's fairly open to the public. Like, you can just walk into the grounds of the city hall and eat your lunch, and people often do. People just sit in there and socialize. It's where all the goth kids hang out as well, so, you know, it's weird. But that's kind of what I'm basing this on. It's going to be a very open area. There's going to be parks in here. I said parks. There's going to be my own version of parks in here. Technically, I could add things like these in, and I think what I'm going to do is actually create some custom park things using the in-game tools that let me do that. Because if I do that, I can actually just make these areas that are, you know, because with that tool, with the in-game tools, you can make park areas that people will actually gather in. You can say, this is an area that pedestrians will gather in and do a thing. So if I can just make like what's basically a transparent park, I can have it so pedestrians will actually gather in an area within one of my custom parks. So that's probably something worth doing so that my parks will actually get used rather than just sitting there empty. But I'll have a little look into that between episodes. I might make that a live stream thing that we do just for the hell of it, and we can go about and test it in Emerald County. If that's something you'd be interested in, live stream wise, do let me know, because I won't bother if no one wants to watch it, so. Yeah, that's, it's something I'm considering, and also I really like how those bigger trees look at the sides of the city hall there. These spaces here, I reckon I could get some nice stuff in here. And I've also realized this entire bloody episode is different to the other ones. I'm not time-lapsing all of this, which I usually would. It's weird. That's really strange. It's just hit me there. Like, I really, a lot of what I'm doing at the moment is stuff that I would usually time-lapse. And, yeah, I'm not doing it today, apparently. I don't know if I will time-lapse anything in this. I think this is a fairly small project in the grand scheme of things. Like, there's a lot of detail to go into it, but I mean, I'm apparently doing it whilst rambling, so if you're a fan of the time-lapses, I do apologize. They're not going away forever, it's just today, apparently I'm not doing them. I definitely think something that could be really nice in here would be a couple of bicycle shelters like that, just sort of out of the way a little bit. Maybe actually moving those to a space like this could look a little better. Sort of having a bicycle shelter right out front of the city hall could be nice. So you can, you know, park your bike there if you so desire. We could also do a bicycle shelter sort of in here, almost. That kind of works. That's kind of cool looking, sort of at the back of the government offices. We'll do another one just up here as well. And we'll do the same on the other side too, because bicycle shelters are nice to have, I suppose. So we'll get one in there, and we'll get one down here too. So there we go. All right. Not really all that noticeable. Definitely not that eye-catching, but I think it's nice to have. I am looking for a very specific picnic pavilion is what I'm looking for. I still haven't got the search box mod. I keep forgetting to install it. I will absolutely have to get that for the next episode, but there we go. I want to put a picnic pavilion just there. I'll put another one on this side, sort of in the same place. And inside of that, I want to just quite simply put some picnic tables. So we'll just put one there, and I'll put another one just there. We'll do the same on this side as well, sort of in different places. So one there and one there. Looks kind of nice. I think I really do like that. I'll put a couple of little benches just around here too, so you can sort of sit around the city hall if you so desire, and have all the traffic whiz behind you. I might even put a tree there. I think a tree could look really nice in that corner, just by the benches. I think just the one miscellaneous tree. As for this space in here, I actually like the idea of this as well. Maybe over here would work better though. I just like the idea that this thing would absolutely be in the grounds of City Hall. I think it's nice. I really love that little, what do you call it, pavilion. Weird that that's also a pavilion. Yeah, I just like it. I think it's probably my favorite thing to just add into spaces. Like, there's one of those in Castle Rock, I think. I put it in this park down here. No, I didn't. Have I not got one of those in Castle Rock? I could swear I did. Ah, yeah, there it is. So yeah, you get stuff like that in there. I think it looks really nice. So yeah, I like filling up spaces, you know? Where's me city? There's me city. I really like filling up these spaces. I think they look really nice. So let's see. Do I want to put some hedges the whole way around this? I totally could. It might make more sense to put them on the inside, though. Or maybe just leave it open. I think leaving it open could work. But maybe putting some more stuff about the place could look nice. So if I got some of the round picnic tables and just sort of Say put one there, put one there, there, and there. So just to fill up the space a little bit. Then put one there, and there, and there, and there as well. I think it works. I definitely think it works. Now, the space around all of this is going to be a bit tricky, because I think that is actually going to be... I mean, I could do hedges. I could definitely do hedges. But there is also... Where is it? It's here somewhere. There it is. I could do this wall the whole way around, which could look kind of interesting. Because it would definitely be a different look to the hedges, which I've done a lot of. So... Let's see, if I sort of do that, and then just sort of, let's just do a row of these and see what it looks like. Because lining these up is always a bit tricky. You've probably noticed with my hedge placement, it's always a little bit janky. That's just the way the game is. So that along there, it looks alright, but I think I prefer the hedges. Plus, the hedges actually have a small variant. Oh god, that was a road. The hedges actually have like a small, smaller version of them, so they're much easier to deal with anyway. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the government area, I guess, of whatever the city's going to be. Yes, this is a huge square. I'm aware of that. But I reckon it'll work. The rest of the city is not going to be entirely grid-based. I just really like the idea that from above, you're going to very clearly see that that is the government space right there. I absolutely love how this is turned out as well. I think it looks so good. We do need to figure out a good way to make some connections to all of this, though. Because the rest of the city isn't, like I said, going to be entirely grid-based. So we need to find a way to, for one, you know, get all these roads to link to things and go places. But for two, I kind of want to figure out sort of where everything else is going to be. Like, I like the idea that there'd be a big kind of housing space over here. There's some kind of suburb-like things over this way. I don't know what way to do it, you know? I think it might be worth doing some, maybe not suburbs over here then. Maybe this could be like just a bunch of high-density housing, but with a high-rise band so the buildings stay sort of like low-level, low-height apartments. That could be a better idea. So what if we went for this kind of road here, and we'll do something like this. So if I go 25, And we'll go, I don't know, 40 and 25 again. We'll go something similar on this. So we'll go, say, we'll go 10. We'll go 20. And we'll go 20. Then I want to try and link those together. Like that. So we'll do that kind of thing. I need to get rid of all the trees in there. I can do that in a second. In fact, I can do that now if we just sort of select every tree on that road. There we go. So do that kind of thing. I like the idea of kind of keeping these main roads here. I think that's going to be kind of important. Although that said, it might make more sense to have those be smaller roads. So something like that. And then continue this road over a little bit. So this road's sort of going to go 10 and then sort of at an angle like this. Yeah, that seems fine by me. So if I do, say, again, 25, and we'll do another 25 there. So I just reckon this could be a really nice space to have a bunch of the housing in. So if I do that kind of thing as well, I can get rid of that road. These can sort of be main roads. Like, this is going to be our main road. These are going to be other kind of main roads. And then I think I'll use these in between. Okay, so this is what we're working with at the moment. And it may look like a bit of a mess, but basically, I reckon this can all be housing. Every little bit of it can be housing. And high-density housing at that. I am going to have to make a district for this, though, because I do want it to be very specific. I do not want high-rises in here. I want this to remain at about the level of being reasonably tall apartments, but no actual skyscrapers here. This is not going to be a huge area of the city. This is kind of outskirts of, well, edge of the city, basically. It's down by the coast, and I will probably do some stuff with that coastline at some point. I just don't know what I'll do with it right now. Kent Park. That's not a terrible name. But there we go. So Kent Park, we're going to go to policies. I'll do... Let's see. We'll go for high-rise ban with high-tech housing. Taxation is going to be tax raise for high-density residential, so we get a little bit more money from there. And we'll see how that does. Now, obviously, it doesn't currently have any connections to the highway, and that's okay. We could get a road under there. We could get a road under there, actually, which would make a lot more sense. So let's go ahead with the regular... Actually, you know what? Let's go for a nice big road here. So we'll go from there straight through for about 20 units. That does mess with the zoning a little bit on that section of road, which fortunately I can fix. So do that and do that and that. There we go. So that's going to come under there. It does have a pillar in the middle of it, but I'm gonna have to ignore that, I'm afraid. I kind of also like the idea of a road coming off of there. So that kind of works pretty nicely. No pillars on that one, though, which is good news. So a couple of roads coming from those spaces. I reckon one sort of going like this as well could be kind of cool. Let me turn prop and tree anarchy off so it doesn't have a bunch of trees on it. That's got no pillars on it either, which is nice. So that's going to come out of there. We're going to want one up this way too, which is going to be a little bit trickier. Now let me see. I could get one in there. I think in there could be a good bet. So let's go like that. And I don't think that has pillars on it. It does not. That's great. And I do want one up here. One way or other, I want to try and get one up here. I think what I can do is go, say, 7 units and 7 units. And then straight through. And I don't think that has pillars on it either. No, it doesn't. Excellent. So that's a bunch of different connections to that space that'll come through to the city. We are going to have to work out ways to make the highway connect to all of this. I reckon the best bet would be going to here, getting this 4-lane road. That's 12 meters, so we want to go 12 units and down. We want to go 12 units and down. That was not what I wanted there. So that is 11 and 12 and down. There we go. So then we flip that one around. I'm really not sure what the best way to connect this to the highway would be. It's a little tricky. What if we did this so I can get some zoning spaces there, and then we go for this road? Because technically, I mean, that should work, right? So if I was to do that and say that, I mean, it certainly works, doesn't it? It certainly works. So if I go and I want to select that junction, so this can go there, that goes there, that one goes that way, and that one goes that way. These ones all sort of go around there. I mean, technically speaking, these all connect together really nicely and should work. I mean, that's not a terrible looking connection. If anything, I can go and make it the highway ramp and it's going to look even better, which is something I probably should have done to start with. But that doesn't look awful. Although I think I may stick with that just so I might stick with the thinner roads because it looks a little bit better. Then just up the speed limit on them because I think that looks better to me. We can get people walking on it if we so desire, but I think that works. Also, that under there isn't actually upgraded to be the kind of road it should be, so let's just fix that. There we go. Get that a little bit under there too. I think that's everything. Okay, so that should totally work. All we need to do is remember to, well, redo all of this. Okay, so this is what we're working with at the moment, and I know that roundabouts in city skylines barely ever work. I'm aware of this, but I'm going to stick with this plan for the time being, just as a temporary solution. I don't think this roundabout is going to stick around. I don't think it's going to work in the long term. But for the time being, I just like the idea of a giant roundabout here. I think that could be kind of fun. It would also be nice if the traffic lights could stick around, but they're not going to be because I know that will fail miserably. So that's the method to get into the city at the moment. And it's going to be staying there. So, I think the last thing to do today to the city, before we let the simulation run, is going to be adding in some water pipes. And this, yeah, I guess this really is kind of the last thing we need to do. I will say, I know this episode of Emerald County has been, I guess, a little different. I'm not, well, maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe it's just a thing in my head, but something about this is just telling me it's a little bit different. We're not going to be focusing entirely on the city going forward. The city's actually going to be a project across a few episodes, but once it's done, we will get back to the standard thing that we've been doing with all the little towns here and there, and you know, just because we're doing the city doesn't mean that we're getting towards the end of anything. I kind of sat down and thought, I really like the idea of doing a government district. And when I attempted it a couple of times, like I mentioned, the problem I was having was that building a government district without an idea of what the rest of the city is going to look like is actually kind of difficult. And it wasn't all that fun either. That was kind of part of the problem too. Is that building this government district wasn't really fun without thinking about the rest of the city. So I decided that, you know, we'll sit down, we'll think about the rest of the city, see what we can do here and there. And I'm glad we did, you know, I'm actually really pleased with the outcome here. So let's see, can I maybe bring this to there and do that kind of thing? Can I get a nice little curve there? Because that'd be nice. Go like that, go one unit in there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think it looks fine. Don't want too many connections in the roundabout anyway, so that'll hopefully work. I know that road is unnecessarily long, I suppose. Maybe it'd be worth turning it into one of these. Yeah, I do want to try and avoid having roads that are incredibly long like that. But again, we will come back and sort of change things here and there. This is just the design at the moment to make sure it ends up working. So let's just connect this entire thing to the water supply. There we go. So connect that to there. which is not connected to those water pumps and also connected to those water pumps. And we do have a lot of water available, so hopefully we'll be okay. Something else I think I'll do as a temporary measure is I will chuck this power plant just here. That'll be getting moved eventually. I'll also run some power cables down to there, and I will run some power cables from there up to 24 meters. We'll go for 24 is actually the highest we can go to, and there, just so that whole space has electricity as well. And I guess we're just going to sit down and let the simulation run as all the buildings get constructed. Turns out that electrical cable wasn't actually close enough, so I guess the easiest method here would be to put one there and sort of bring it around, so I don't have to have it going over any roads or anything like that. So there we go. That whole area now has an electrical connection, which is great news. Traffic is going to be interesting. I'm also going to go ahead and just throw in a fire station there and a police station just there. And I'll just chuck in a hospital as well. Obviously, they're temporary, don't worry. That's just to make sure that everything in the area works. I also want to just make sure that water is not an issue. No, water is fine. Okay, so basically, I think at this point, I'm just curious to see how traffic flows here. It's coming off the highway, no problem. It does slow down a little bit because it's obviously coming onto a slower road. It's obviously all trying to get into the one lane, as it does when it comes to a roundabout. And there is going to be a lot of it initially anyway. I mean, this area here, Kent Park, has a population of 1,500 and growing. So this traffic tailback is going to just happen, basically, especially since they are all trying to get into the leftmost lane. Which is just great. Gotta love when they do that. I think it might actually be worth looking into having that lane there be left turn only. This one can sort of be there. This one can be there, and that one can be those two. So that might encourage traffic to sort of branch out a little bit. It may also be worth having them stay in lane until they get to the roundabout. So, yeah, that seems fair to me. And then here, they're going to be forced to stay in lane. Basically, just a bit of traffic control, I think, is going to be necessary here. They can merge at that point. I don't really want them doing that either. So, you all are going to be merging at this point just there. So what that says to me is you guys need to be able to go to those two lanes, you guys need to be able to go to those two lanes, you need to be able to go to those two lanes, and you need to be able to go to those two. Okay, so by that logic, we should start seeing a bit more in the realm of traffic management, because anyone going anywhere but left will have to use the other lanes. At least, that's kind of my hope. They're all sort of filtering out, yeah, that traffic jam's gonna be crazy for a while. Again, that is just gonna happen. That's just the nature of this kind of thing, I suppose. Is any traffic getting held back that's trying to go left? It doesn't look like it. So yeah, traffic going straight on is fine. It's just traffic going into this new city area. But that said, no, not water problems, just pipe problems. That said, I am actually really pleased with how this area here looks. I think it looks excellent. I'm really, really happy with it. There are a couple of people driving about inside of the grounds of the government space. Seeing people driving down this road here really makes me so happy. It looks really cool. It really does. I'm pleased with this. We absolutely will deal with the traffic problems and all that in the future. Again, this is just placeholder. This is just as a way to get traffic into the city. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Hopefully you like it too. It's the start of what I assume we'll probably just call Emerald City, because I think that could be quite nice. So Emerald City, I reckon is what this is the start of. little bit more work to do here and there. There's going to be a lot of detailing in the city. Hopefully you'll stick around to watch all of that detailing and so much more. But that is going to be it for today. So thank you kind of for watching. This has been Emerald County. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.